Welcome to today's brand origin deep dive, where we pull back the curtain on the unlikely beginnings of products you think you know. You interact with their polished perfection daily, seamless and integrated into modern life. But what if their true beginning was a forgotten storage unit filled with designs so awkward, so strange, they looked like they belonged in a joke shop, not a tech giant's history? What if their iconic form arose from ridiculed failures, dusty forgotten corners, and whispered doubts? This is the messy human story hidden beneath the sleek surfaces. If you find value in this kind of storytelling, consider liking the video and subscribing. It helps more than you know. Let us know in the comments where you're watching from, or what brand story you'd love to see us cover next. Let's dive in and discover how it all began. You walk into this abandoned storage unit, the heavy air thick with the kind of dust that hasn't been disturbed in decades. It smells of decaying cardboard and forgotten ambition. Row upon row of forgotten prototypes sit under faded tarps, relics of countless projects that never saw the light of day. You're not here for just anything. You're looking for a specific whisper from the past, the awkward, almost embarrassing first step of something now ubiquitous. You locate a box, completely unmarked, surprisingly heavy. Inside, nestled in crumbling, yellowed foam, you uncover them. Early, frankly grotesque iterations of a now iconic product. These are strange, wired contraptions, clunky earpieces taped together with visible seams, sitting alongside stacks of handwritten notes filled with desperate sketches and technical jargon that looks more like frantic doodles than professional blueprints. This isn't the sleek origin story the company tells in its polished keynotes. This is raw, messy, awkward, almost pathetic in its vulnerability. You feel the palpable weight of failure in your hands as you hold these early, ridiculed attempts. This marks a major historical milestone, the very first physical manifestations of the concept, regardless of how crude. This quirky, lesser-known detail of the joke versions highlights the brand's truly humble and ridiculed origins. You sense a hidden struggle, an internal battle within the company to even justify pursuing this bizarre, awkward direction against the backdrop of more conventional ideas. Brand historians still debate whether the sheer absurdity of these initial contraptions was a sign of doomed failure or simply radical, misunderstood vision awaiting its moment. The frustrating lack of connection in these early, unwieldy designs ironically foreshadows the eventual perfect click or snap of a successful connection that would define the final product. Building on the anticipation and speculation, Section 3 brings us to the moment of truth. The product launches. You witness in real time the initial wave of public mockery wash over the internet and airwaves. It's a spectacle of derision. The memes are brutal. The late-night monologues land punchy jokes about selling detached earlobes or electric toothbrush heads. Articles question the very sanity of removing a beloved port and pushing this strange new accessory. This chaotic debut is the major historical turning point for the product's public image, a baptism by fire. Brand historians still debate whether this intense ridicule was a calculated risk or a genuine misjudgment, but it undeniably created a perverse kind of mystique. You see the harsh glare of phone screens reflecting mocking tweets. Hear the skeptical voices in early review videos filling your feed. Yet, amidst the noise, something shifts. You start tracking early adopters, often ridiculed themselves. Their initial awkwardness, fumbling for the case, struggling with the fit, slowly melts away, replaced by a quiet, almost unthinking acceptance. The product begins to appear in your periphery, subtly at first. A glimpse on the train, a quiet click from a bag in the park. The sound of a charging case closing, that symbolic snap of connection, transitions from a curious novelty to the soundtrack of a new normalcy, a confirmation of belonging for those who adopted early. This section captures that slow, almost imperceptible creep of the product into everyday life, foreshadowing the moment when the joke is no longer funny, but something slightly unsettling in its sheer ubiquity. Building on the quiet resilience we saw in the previous phase, the brand didn't just recover, it exploded. Suddenly, you found yourself surrounded. On the street, in cafes, on public transport, the white stems were everywhere. The joke was well and truly dead, replaced by a quiet, pervasive presence that seemed to redefine personal space on the fly. You felt the subtle shift in public interaction. The world became a collection of individual audio bubbles, each with its own soundtrack. This overwhelming ubiquity marked a major turning point, transforming the product from a ridiculed gadget into a cultural artifact and identifier. This seamless integration wasn't accidental, but perhaps its ease was stumbled upon more than meticulously planned. A quirky, lesser-known detail comes from a leaked internal design brief from a few years post-launch, outlining plans for ambient connectivity and frictionless presence. It used unnerving language like erasure of interface and invisible integration, detailing metrics around how quickly users forget they're even wearing the product, framing this lack of conscious awareness not as a bug, but a desired feature. The goal was clearly beyond simple convenience. It was about removing points of friction, perhaps even points of thought. Brand historians still debate whether this design philosophy was genius or simply capitalized on a natural human tendency towards passive connection. As countless devices hummed quietly around you, the visual repetition of the white shape became almost invisible, like background noise. The absence of tangled wires felt freeing, while the subtle click of cases opening and closing nearby served as sonic markers of this new, connected reality. The emotional shift moved from mere curiosity to a sense of being completely immersed, or even slightly overwhelmed by the brand's presence. That symbolic snap of connection now feels less like a confirmation and more like a subtle reminder of this seamless, potentially isolating existence. We're left to wonder about the potential psychological cost of living so deeply integrated, so effortlessly ambient. Building on the era of effortless connection and sleek design, you start to notice the shadows lengthening. You begin seeking out the voices that were perhaps drowned out by the initial wave of seamless adoption. There are the designers who left, frustrated by compromises made for aesthetic over function. The ethicists who raised concerns about disposability and data long before it was mainstream. The customers who, after the initial awe faded, felt a strange, subtle detachment from the physical world. The glossy sheen begins to reveal scuffs. You explore the mounting critiques, the product's significant environmental impact, its almost designed-in disposability. This wasn't just technology, it was becoming a part of the urban soundscape, creating micro-bubbles of audio and attention that felt like invisible walls being erected between people in public spaces. You see the forgotten alternatives, the wired relics gathering dust in drawers, a symbol of a different kind of connection now abandoned. Analysts continue to question the reasoning behind prioritizing this rapid life cycle over more sustainable, repairable designs. A major turning point arrived when environmental watchdog groups highlighted the sheer volume of discarded plastic cases and non-replaceable battery units piling up globally. There's even a quirky, lesser-known detail: an early rejected proposal for a modular design allowing easy battery swaps, deemed too clunky for the minimalist vision. The sensory details shift. You notice the silent decay of those old wired headphones, the sharp crunch of discarded plastic cases underfoot, the feeling of intangible barriers when you walk past someone completely lost in their sonic bubble. The subtle click you once loved for its satisfying connection now sometimes sounds like a lock engaging, sealing users in, not just connecting devices. The emotional shift is palpable. Cultural acceptance begins to give way to questioning the deeper implications and ethical dimensions. The symbolic snap feels heavier now, associated with separation from the immediate environment as much as connection to audio. You feel a sense that something fundamental has been lost in this pursuit of ultimate convenience, foreshadowing a complex, long-term legacy for the brand. You stand back and observe the world, a landscape undeniably reshaped. The white stems, once a bizarre sight, are now as common, maybe even more common, than eyeglasses. That initial joke, that awkward little product, has become a global phenomenon, an invisible layer of connectivity and isolation woven deeply into the fabric of daily life. You reflect on the almost unbelievable journey, from crude, clunky prototypes hidden away in a dusty storage unit, through fierce internal battles over its very existence, past widespread public mockery that seemed insurmountable, to this point of absolute, unquestioned ubiquity. The brand core, envisioned in those early days, is now its irreversible, tangible legacy, a symbol of seamless technology so integrated it feels both profoundly liberating and unsettlingly pervasive. You can almost perceive it, a constant, low-level hum of connectivity hanging in the air everywhere you go. There's the phantom feeling of something crucial missing when the snap doesn't occur on cue, and the quiet confidence, perhaps bordering on complacency, of the wearers moving through their day. The emotional arc of this brand's story concludes here with a sense of profound transformation. Yet, it's a transformation tinged with a distinct unease about the future. The symbolic snap, which began as a simple, desired confirmation of connection, then became the casual sound of new normalcy, evolving into a sort of digital lock confirming presence, is now something else entirely, an echo. It's a sound that signifies not just connection, but the absence of effort, the absence of friction, perhaps even the absence of a certain kind of immediate human presence in interaction. As you look out, lingering questions arise. What else, besides tangled wires and physical buttons, did this push for seamlessness make disappear from our lives? What forgotten, alternative ways of interacting with sound or information still whisper, unheard, in the digital archives of past experiments? Is this truly the end of the story, or merely a prelude to an even deeper form of integration, an even more invisible layer of control or comfort that we haven't yet imagined? The product itself remains, a silent, stark white monument standing testament to a transformation nobody, not even its creators, fully anticipated. Born from a punchline, now a permanent, almost unquestioned part of the world's infrastructure, it simply waits, waiting for the next interaction, the next evolution, the next snap. Analysts continue to question the reasoning behind accepting such a rapid, widespread integration, wondering if the convenience truly outweighed the subtle societal shifts it triggered. And so, you've seen the full circle of this remarkable journey. From a seed of an idea, maybe even a clumsy mistake, nurtured through challenge and skepticism, to a towering presence that redefined our everyday. The key takeaway? Innovation isn't always born from a grand vision. Sometimes it emerges from persistence, necessity, and perhaps a bit of unexpected luck. The long-term legacy of this brand isn't just about the technology itself, but about how it changed us, how it shifted our perceptions of convenience, privacy, and presence. Its cultural symbolism is profound, representing both the promise of frictionless living and the quiet anxiety of constant connection. The lesson learned? That even the simplest product can have an outsized impact, and that adoption often happens faster than our understanding of its consequences. Brand historians still debate whether the speed of its proliferation was due to brilliant strategy or simply perfect timing colliding with societal readiness for disruption. As you reflect on the white stems and the lingering echo of that sound, consider the story not just of a brand, but of change itself. How the things we laugh at today might be the foundations of tomorrow. How comfort can come with compromise. How even the most ubiquitous objects hold within them a history of struggle, triumph, and unanswered questions. And maybe, just maybe, the soul of a brand is never truly found in its polished product or its market share, but in the people who conceived it, the countless stories of those who used it, and the stumbles and lessons learned along the way. It's a reminder that every object tells a story if you only stop to listen.